Well, 2 in the afternoon. Chicken salad wrap, please.
Hello and welcome to Meet Me at the Riverside Cafe with yours truly, Queen Banda from WCTV
and Lydia Gerner from Wareham Week. We're joined today by the Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, Peter Teitelbaum. Welcome, Peter.
Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you, Lydia. It's the first time since I've been on the board that somebody from Wareham Week has actually said Chairman, which is actually the title of the position in the charter.
What do they normally say?
They say Chair, which is, I'm sitting on one, it's an inanimate object. So Lydia got it right finally.
That's the newspaper style.
I
It's not
lobbied
my
Jamie for years
decision.
about nowhere, but I had a conversation with Lydia.
Okay.
She's finally gotten it.
So that bothers you when people say
No, it's just a goof.
goof, okay.
Just a goof.
All right. So you are now the chairman of the Selectmen here in Wareham. Is this your first round to be a chairman, or you've
No,
done this before?
I was chairman from 2013 into 2014 previously.
Okay. Peter, there's a lot going on here in Wareham. A lot. One of the things I can tell you is, you remember when we met and we talked about Main Street, revamping Main Street?
Right.
Yes, and I've heard from other people who are very saddened by the fact that our Main Street is pretty much giving its back from something that should be the center, the focus, and that is water, right? So have we made any progress to turning all these shops facing the water?
Yeah, I don't know that there's anything specific that has been done. There's a number of things in the works.
Okay.
The first is, as you might recall, town meeting last spring passed a request to the legislature to create a. Ooh, that looks good.
I know.
I know. Maybe breakfast at 2 isn't so bad, huh?
Now you want to order breakfast.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, they passed a bill to the legislature to create a redevelopment authority. And right now, just by way of information, that bill has gotten through the Senate.
Yeah.
It's in the House, and it's awaiting its third reading, which is the final reading, and an opportunity for anybody to offer amendments, which they probably won't. I don't think at this point there's any concern with the bill. And then they will jointly send it to the governor for his signature, and at that point we will have a redevelopment authority.
So elections are coming up April 3rd, right?
Yes, they are.
There are 2 seats open on the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
Are you nervous about that? How do you feel about the candidates who have stepped forward so far?
Well, Alan Slavin's running for re-election for a 3-year term. So far, he hasn't been challenged. Nobody's taken out papers for that. Alan probably works harder at this than anybody on the board. He's sort of he's almost like our foreign minister. You know, he goes off, he deals with the state people, he deals with the regional planning district, you know, he's involved with the transportation committee for this area and everything else. So he's very valuable in that role. So I certainly hope he stays on, because we'd be hard pressed to find somebody with that kind of commitment and that kind of energy to go do all this stuff.
And then Selectman Judy Whiteside was abruptly resigned from her position, so her seat is open.
Her seat's open. I know 2 of the 3 people who've pulled papers. I know Mary Bruce very well. She was actually my campaign treasurer the first time I ran, and so I'm a big booster of Mary. She's done a lot of good for this town as the president of the Garden Club.
Yeah.
She's very civic-minded. She grew up here much as I did, so we sort of have that sort of commonality, even though she's a different generation and listens to different music. So she would be outstanding on the board. We have Mark Bianco, whom I don't know incredibly well. He's currently serving on the planning board, and I understand he's doing an outstanding job in that capacity. So I just personally, I mean, I'm not speaking as a sitting selectman, just personally, I think he's in a great spot right now to really help the town. So, and I don't know the third person who's pulled. Yeah, I don't know anything about her.
Looking at if we convert that Kim Martindale building into a functioning hall. Somebody has an event and they get to rent it and do an event there, because it's very, very beautiful.
Exactly.
So, you know, we may not turn it into the stores right away, but it still has a lot of value and purpose.
Well, if you go back to that vision plan that came out, you know, ultimately I think it was actually introduced at the Tremont event. That was the final version, and they had it up on slides and everything else. It does talk about multiple uses out there, from residential possibly up by the railroad tracks. Maybe the sheet metal building at that point gets removed because you could fit in more residential that way. The freight building was seen as the place where you would want a banquet/function facility. We've had a couple of different proposals from people looking to do different things in the building. A crowd brewing concept has come forward where you would sign up and they would supply the equipment and you would subscribe and pay to go brew beer in there. Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I met with the superintendent, I think it was 2 days ago, and also Miss John Simmons from Minot, and Bernard Pigeon as well.
Right.
To talk about what they're doing and so forth, and the different solutions to fixing the overcrowding and breaking down the infrastructure. So what do you have to say? What do you think about
Well, it's indisputable that both those schools need to be replaced.
Okay.
You know, Minot, I went there, I think, I don't know if it was the first year it opened or the second year it opened, back in second grade. You know, it was a nice modern building then. It's not anymore. It's a mess. You know, we need Mr. Trump to describe it for us. But anyway, and Deacon's is not much better. You know, that's, I think my mother taught there right after it opened, back in the 60s or something. So they're both old, they're both dilapidated, they both don't really serve modern educational needs, and I think most people in town agree with that. So my feeling is we do need to replace both, not just one.
Yes.
Where the questions arise is, where do you put a new building?
Yes.
I mean, personally, at this point, I favor more of an upfront investment and paying additional costs for a campus approach and putting it up near Town Hall.
Really?
Yes. I think we'll save a lot of money over the lifespan of these schools, which will be 70-something years.
What are we going to do with traffic?
You can always put another curb cut in there. You have to get permission from the state because at that point it's a state highway. It turns into a state highway.
Was just hit right out there.
Yeah, that's true. But
And
that could have happened at any point.
if middle school and high school needed to expand, how are they?
I think
It's
that's...
going to be very high school.
Well, we're losing population now, though.
I
Yeah.
know right now, but what if we're talking all these changes of revamping Main Street, people start coming in and thinking that our town is as cool as Marion.
Well, it would be nice, but that's not something that's going to happen in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. It's going to take a long time to turn around the
I know,
perceptions.
and then we're going to get there, and then what are we doing?
Well, at that point, you'll have enough of a tax base so you can afford a new school.
We have medical marijuana.
We do.
Okay, they said
Coming soon.
yes to it. So, what is our town doing?
Well, right now, we do have a host agreement with Compassionate Care. They came before the board starting, I think, 3 years ago. We have an agreement with them for them to be able to sell medicinal marijuana. On April 1st, applicants can start coming in for recreational marijuana uses. So we need something on the books before then. It's gone back and forth a couple of times with the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General who's in charge of local bylaws and things like that. She's opined that to be prudent, make sure you've got your zoning and your limits on the number of shops in place by April 1st. So, I saw online somewhere somebody commented, "Well, the town's got plenty of time. Why would you do a special election?" Well, we don't have plenty of time. If we wait till town meeting, we might have 10 applications in there. We wouldn't be able to deny a single one, and we wouldn't be able to say you can't put it here, here, and here because we have no zoning in place for it.
Well, I am very happy that you were able to join us.
Yeah, thank you.
Me too.
Yes,
Wasn't anywhere near as horrific as I thought it might be.
No. And as you know, we are closing the show, maybe at the Riverside. So it was an honor to have you and to host you for our last episode.
Okay, well then, thank you.
Ending with a big bang.
So now people can go around and say, Teitelbaum killed it, look what he did.
Yeah, if the show completely dies and never comes back, I think it's
going to have to come back, because I got
It will come back.
some ideas for people in the future for you, so.
It will come back.
But thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks.
Are you ready?
Thank you so much for watching our season 1 of Meet Me at the Riverside. It's been so much fun, and
Yeah, a lot of learning. For you guys who have watched season 1, episode 1 to this episode right now, episode 10, you can see that we both grew a lot and we were able to grow with you. So thank you so much for being there and for watching. Once again, it was I Queen Bundle from WCTV, and we had Peter. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them who you are.
Peter Teitelbaum, longtime Wareham resident. We'll just leave it at that.
And I'm Lydia Gerner from Wareham League. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, next time.